All right. So, welcome. This is PAMcast for February 20th, 2024. I just clicked the button to start the streaming. And gotta give it a second to get like all the things collated. All the internet pieces, all the clouds have to sync up, and it appears that they have synced. Cool. So, welcome. This is PAMcast for February 20th, 2024. This is a monthly, what are these things called? Webinar, live podcast, videocast, whatever it is. It's PAMcast. It is targeted at TechIDManager users, TechIDManager clients, and anyone thinking about using it. We take the general target view that, oh my God, my words are way messed up today. Today has been like super busy. Give me a second. Let me collect myself. All right. You just scratch all that. Let's start over because, you know, it's a live broadcast. We'll edit the recording and let you get sent if you see one. I'm 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗶𝗏, founder and CTO of TechIDManager. And this is PAMcast for February 20th, 2024. This is targeted at existing clients, people who use TechIDManager, people interested in TechIDManager, people who want to know what has changed in TechIDManager in the last month. We'll cover who I am, some general topic on TechIDManager and what we think and do and the way direction the market's going, things like that. And then we'll have this boring technical section, I love to call it. Everybody thinks that's a terrible name, but I love it. A boring technical feature section on new features. We'll talk about all the new things that have happened in TechIDManager in the last month, and then we'll talk about what's coming next time. And we'll have a Q&A at the end. If anybody has any questions, ask them. So, I'm 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗏, founder and CTO of TechIDManager. February 2019, I quit my job. I started Ruffian Software and we wrote TechIDManager to specifically do privileged account management for managed service providers under the auspice that every technician needs a unique account. So, that's who I am. That's why we're here. So how seriously do we take security architecture? This is the question that we're gonna do some thought leadership and thinking on first, because we've seen quite a few posts on TechTribe and Facebook and Reddit and a few other places where there have been breaches and people have published letters from other companies that say, well, we're changing the way we do this for more security. There's a lot. And then the MSP changes that came out late last year. There's a lot more focus being taken on security and the protection of data. We at TechIDManager use zero visibility storage. That means that the RSA key, the private key that each technician has, is the only thing that can decrypt the information that we store for those technicians. That means that we store tens of millions of credentials, but we can't read them, we can't decrypt them. So that's part of the very serious security architecture that we have. We are serious about not seeing your data. We're serious about protecting all the data and not being that point of ingress. We don't do remote code execution, which is the back channel things that have happened in a couple remote connection tools recently that have really been overly reported. There have been lots of update hacks, lots of problems in the general SaaS vendor security architecture and we don't ever want to be part of that. So we take security architecture very seriously. We've built it in from the beginning. Everything we do, we will always use zero visibility storage. Our password vault uses zero visibility storage, all of it. So if you ever have any questions or any of your clients have questions about how this data is protected or how a hacker can or can't see it or why or any of those things, no matter the technical minutia of it, I love to talk about those things. I'm very willing to get on a call with you and your clients and say, hey, this is how we protect the privileged accounts that we are helping maintain for you, for your clients. And these are the benefits of the way we do it. All those things. We're very willing. If any of your clients have questions, any of your clients are like, well, this thing or that thing or whatever their objections are, we're very willing to help. Call us, email us, support@techidmanager.com and say, hey, I have this client, wants to have a meeting, discuss the security. We're willing to do that. All right? because we take it very serious. It's an issue near and dear to my heart that I really enjoy security, encryption, making sure that the visibility on data is protected. Like protected data, visibility is an important thing, and who can see what from more than just a security theater or curtain. Like in the Wizard of Oz, when they get to the very end and they find the wizard and they pull back the curtain, they see that it's really not all that serious. Well, if you pull back our curtain, which we're very willing to do because we're trying to be as transparent as possible, you see that the security really is architected into the product. From the asymmetric encryption, the zero visibility storage, the ability to self-host it, the ability to migrate your data off of our servers onto your own self-hosting instance. If that is what you want to do and become in control of it, we're here to help you do that. Just whatever it is security-wise that you want to talk about, I love to talk about it. Hit me up and we can talk about it. All right? So that's my quick blurb on how serious we take security architecture and what we're willing to do to help people, you, your clients, your technicians, anyone, understand what we're doing and why and how. All right? So now, my favorite part, the boring technical stuff. The things that we have done in the last month to make TechIDManager a better product. So there are a couple simple ones here we'll cover and some that are really elusive to larger things that we have coming. First one we'll talk about is group membership from the detail screen. Wow, I just keep highlighting too much. So in the management console, when you go to look at a technician and you look at the details on that technician, let's look at me. You can see down here, these are the tech groups that I'm a member of. And you can add and remove somebody from one of those tech groups right on this screen. Makes it much easier. And if you want to see the details about that tech group, you can get there. Agents, we have done the same thing. So at the bottom of the agent screen, the bottom of, sorry, not the agent screen, the agent detail screen. So if you pick an agent, let's look at this one. On the bottom here, we have the same agent group memberships. You can add an agent to any of the groups you have available. And then it's in there. This is part of that. Same thing happens in rights. We're generally adding easier mechanisms to help you move rights around, move things between groups, help you determine what's going on. All those are there and let you get to any of them from where they are, see what's in it. We are attempting to add easier ways to manage the groups and the memberships and all the individual items. All right. So if you have any questions about any of that, just let me know. We're trying to make it as efficient and as quick and as possible to manage all that you have to manage. And there's more small detail stuff like that coming on the management console. We'll cover all, we're continually improving it, part of our continual improvement process. The next one is TOTP and the mobile tech client. So in the Windows tech client on the user passwords, let me shrink this up a little bit so you can see all of it. Test. Somewhere in here we are, there is TOTP. So I've added a TOTP secret to this particular credential. So we can see what it is. You can do it. You can even get it. If you would like to copy it, you can copy it. You can inject it just like anything else. And if you want to see it, it is here and how much longer it's valid for. So this is the beginning of integration of MFA into TechIDManager. The infrastructure for this from a technical perspective, because that's what we're talking about, is boring technical details, is in user passwords. It'll be in the shared password vault, which is coming. It is also behind the scenes already in these managed passwords in the database and data storage and all that stuff. And we are looking at integrating MFA providers that will then inject that information directly so that you can get MFA directly in TechIDManager for all the accounts we make and maintain. And then you can also set it for the lapse accounts or the password rotation accounts where you tell TechIDManager to take over the account and rotate the password. We're going to manage all of that. We are stepping from just privileged account management into privileged account management and secrets management. Time zone changes for the management console. Wow, I'm having trouble highlighting. Whew. That would be annoying. Ah! Technical fail. Time zone changes for the management console. In the management console, there are lots of reports that you can get in the activity log that have times on them. The activity log report, the no contact report, what agents haven't checked in, active accounts report, who has account where last time it was updated, all those reports. And you notice they were all in UTC time. You as a manager can now go into client options, and you can choose what time zone you want all the reports displayed in. So if you are in the Yukon, you can see them in Yukon time. If you're in Eastern US like us, you can see it in Eastern US. If you prefer to see it in UTC, you can leave this as UTC and it's always there. The reports, when you download them, download with both UTC and, I believe with both local and UTC time. So like it is, when you're looking at the activity log now, it is much easier to see and grasp mentally when things happened. You know, we can actually just see that during this demo, I viewed the credential for test to show you the TOTP for that 2 minutes ago. But in UTC, that was harder to understand when that actually was. Yeah. And even I updated, anyway, you all know this. You're familiar that everything that you do is logged in the activity log. Duplicate username improvements. Ugh, this highlighting is going to drive me crazy. I must figure out a better way to do this in the future. On the agents, such as the Azure agent or the domain service agent or the local machine agent, if there were duplicate names in the past, the agent would say, oh, there are duplicate names. I'm not going to make any changes. We have changed that so that now if you have duplicate names because you've used a custom username format, such as first, last initial, or first initial, last initial, or something else, we are only going to not do something with the names that are duplicate. The other names are all still do the same things that you're expected with. This was hotly debated. It has both pros and cons. It has the pro that we're doing something to help get your technicians access. It has the con that, well, it's misconfigured, but it's still working for for more than half the people. For 2 people with a duplicate name, it's just not working. So we think it's a better way. Will work for the users that are there, and you can fix the misconfiguration and then have full access. All right. It's real minor. Most people won't even notice. It's one of those fringe edge cases where if you're not using the defaults and you caused configuration problems, we're going to continue to try and do the best thing we can. We'll do these next 2 out of order. For the Azure install, there were third-party libraries. Like with all software has a bomb. That's crazy. So we're using other libraries to do a lot of what we do. We're using the Azure, I forget what it's called. There's a library that accesses Azure. There's one that does encryption. There's all kinds of different libraries. Like any software package. I think the average is like 40 or 50 third-party libraries or in any software package nowadays. It's crazy. So there's a software bomb, bill of materials, and then there's bomb traceability and bomb. There's a term for that. Vulnerabilities, where if there's a third-party library as a vulnerability, that vulnerability flows up to other parties. There were some vulnerabilities listed in some of the third-party libraries we used. We looked into them. There were vulnerabilities listed in parts of the library that we do not use, so they should not have affected us, but we still updated all those libraries to the latest version and released a new Azure agent. So I think it's 4.103 has all the updated libraries in it. To update it, just rerun the Azure install script, and it will go through and update it. It'll ask, when you log in a tenant, it will say, hey, appears to already be an Azure install here. Do you want to update it? Just say yes. And it'll go, all right, we're going to update it, and it does its thing, and that's all you have to do. Very straightforward. The Azure install script has some changes in it also. Those changes are mostly related to readability and visibility. Before, it would scroll a whole bunch of stuff by the screen. Now it just gives you like headers of what it's doing at each point, and then any errors if there are errors. This also, there are changes based on an Azure update that seemed to happen early last week. In the past, when you installed an Azure function or created something, if the resource provider was not already installed in that tenant, the Azure CLI would automatically install that resource provider for you and set it up, and then you didn't have to do anything. Well, last week that appears to have changed. So there were several people having trouble installing the Azure agent in new tenants because it would give an error that the subscription didn't exist when they were trying to create a storage app. Technical. The real problem was not that the subscription didn't exist. The real problem was that the resource provider for the storage for Microsoft.storage was not initiated in that tenant or was not installed, registered. So the Azure script now registers that resource provider before it does the setup of that storage app. So if you had trouble with installing a new Azure tenant last week, that script got fixed Thursday. I believe we found the problem Wednesday. It got fixed Thursday. So the install script for 𝗰𝗿𝗄𝗁𝗍, which is the latest one on the website, is the one that fixes that issue. So if you have any questions, concerns, and all of the source for that script is clearly up there because it's a PowerShell script. Read through it. If you have any questions, we're always here to help. We love helping. So the last thing that we have changed since last month, man, I hate that highlighting. I have to figure out something else. Is Microsoft. We added Microsoft SSO for Management Console access. That means when you log out, log in, you go to log into the Management Console, you can either log in with an account that is directly in the Management Console, a username and password, and the MFA if you have it set up, or you can use another service such as Microsoft to log in. So you just click Microsoft. See, I'm logged in as Martin at ruffiansoftware.com because that is connected to my Microsoft SSO account. You can configure this in Manager Access, just like before. If you want to add a manager, you can put their email here. And then the new manager authentication method, you have the choice between any, which means they can log in, they can authenticate either with a username and password on the Management Console itself, or they can authenticate with a Microsoft-based SSO account. You can force people to be one or the other. So if we have, let's say, Chris here, and we want to force him to be Microsoft, we can just change that, add him here. It will override the existing entry, and he now can no longer log in with the local account on the Management Console. He has to log in with a Microsoft SSO account. You can do this. You can change anyone else's authentication method. You can't change your own. So that if you are logged in, we're not going to let you break your own access. All right. And you can remove people the same. This same SSO option is available for self-hosted clients. If you have any questions about it, contact me. We can help you get that set up. There were directions for it in the last update documents that went out. So, golly, I have flown through all of those issues. That took just less than 20 minutes. Just blah, 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 blah. Talking. So that's kind of what we've done. This month has been real light, real bunch of small incremental changes. That doesn't mean we're not working on big stuff. There's at least one big change coming for next month, and then there's some big changes coming after that too. We're real excited. We have lots in the pipeline that is really cool. So we will talk about the new features, just like this month, next month. We'll talk about the new features that are coming. And if you have any questions about any of this, just email us, support@TechIDManager.com, and we will help you out, help try to figure it out. All right. Yeah, that's kind of the whole agenda, the whole thing I had on it. If you have any concerns, questions, whatever, if you see any of these things that you want changed or different, or if you have any feature requests, because quite a few of these did come from feature requests. The time zone change specifically came from some of our Australian brethren who thought UTC was not the best way. I agree. So we put it in for them. All right. If there's something that you see or feature request that you want, we would love to hear it. All right. So that's kind of what we have, kind of where we are. Thank you for being here. Try out these new features and let us know. And my minion, I forgot to introduce my minion in the background. Emily, she has her hand raised. Yes, Emily?
If you could talk about channel program for a minute and leaving a review, that would be great.
Oh, okay. Yes. The minion in the background, Emily, she is our channel manager. She says that we have a presence on channel program. And if you could go there, say that you use TechIDManager and leave us a review, that would be great. That would really help us out. And I believe that correct me if I'm wrong, there's some money involved in doing that. Yeah, they'll give you like $15 million if you leave each review. I mean, don't hold me to that. That might be what they said, not me. Like I'm just passing on the information. So yeah, go do that. Help us out anywhere that you want to review us. I think you can review us on Google also. So I'm sure where this ends up, there'll be links in the description for how to get to the places to review us. I don't happen to have those links, so I can go blah and show them to you, but they'll be the doobly-doos down below whenever this gets posted. All right. Anything else we need to talk about, Emily? All right, then I will say adieu and tell you all to try out all the new features. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, we love it, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.